TV soap news and spoilers say that today on our channel, we're turning the spotlight onto one of the most tenacious and driven characters in Beyond the Gates, Catherine "Cat" Hayes. We all know she's never been one to take things at face value, but now, caught in the center of one of Brookhaven Ridge's most sinister plots, Cat's determination to uncover the truth may be the only thing standing between justice and a devastating cover-up. Will Cat muster the courage and cunning to expose Leslie's lies and schemes once and for all? Buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into every twist and turn of this electrifying storyline, and trust us, what we have in store for you today is more dramatic, more detailed, and far more explosive than anything we've covered before. 1. A web of deception. How one accident sparked a town-wide conspiracy. It all began with a single, heart-stopping moment. Laura Richardson's sleek sedan careened off the highway overpass, crashing in a spray of shattered glass and twisted metal. Almost instantly, the peaceful veneer of Brookhaven Ridge shattered, replaced by rumors of sabotage, blackmail, and revenge. While most townsfolk whispered of mechanical failure or driver error, one person refused to let the story end there: Cat Hayes. Cat's suspicions were aroused almost immediately. As Laura's former assistant and close friend, she knew Laura's favorite scenic routes, her cautious driving habits, and the precise routine she insisted on following. Something about the crash simply didn't add up: the missing skid marks, the unexplained detour message on Laura's GPS, even that strange, cryptic voicemail left on Laura's phone the night before. To Cat, each of these anomalies formed the threads of a sinister tapestry woven by unseen hands. 2. The unlikely connection. Eva Sinclair's arrival and a perfectly timed job offer. Enter Eva Sinclair, ambitious, charming, and suddenly the new personal assistant to Dr. Nicole and Dr. Ted Richardson, Laura's parents and prominent surgeons at Brookhaven General. Cat couldn't ignore the coincidence that, just days before the crash, Eva had accidentally landed the very job once held by Laura. Had fate truly smiled upon Eva, or was something more calculated at work? Suspicion gnawed at Cat's mind. What if Eva's chance employment was no chance at all, but a carefully orchestrated move to infiltrate the Richardson household? What if these appointments served not only to monitor Laura's parents, but to sabotage Laura herself, and pave the way for Eva, under Leslie Montclair's direction, to gather vital information for a darker plan? Cat's instincts screamed that Leslie, Laura's estranged mother, played a far greater role than she'd let on. The Montclair name had pedigree, influence, and a history of scandal neatly buried in the city archives. But why would Leslie collude with Eva, a relative stranger, to target her own daughter? The answer, what Cat suspected, was as twisted as it was tragic: greed, control, and perhaps a twisted notion of protecting her daughter from an inheritance left in the hands of the unsuspecting Richardson clan. 3. The midnight infiltration. Leslie's brazen hospital visit. If there was any doubt that Leslie had crossed the line from neglect to malevolence, it vanished when Cat uncovered surveillance footage of Leslie sneaking into Brookhaven General at 2 in the morning. Under the guise of checking on Laura's recovery, Leslie slipped past the nurse's station and made her way to the ICU, where Laura lay pale and unconscious. What Leslie did in those dimly lit corridors remains shrouded in mystery. Some say she tampered with Laura's drip, slowing her recovery. Others suggest she planted false medical records to delay the patient's release. Whatever the truth, one thing is clear: Leslie was willing to jeopardize her daughter's life for reasons only she understands, and deliver a strategic blow to the Richardson household's sense of security. Cat pored over the footage frame by frame, her heart pounding each time Leslie's slender silhouette appeared on the monitor. She knew that if she didn't act swiftly, Leslie's influence could push Laura's condition into a critical new phase, keeping her sidelined and silenced indefinitely. 4. Piecing together the motive: jealousy, inheritance, and a mother's betrayal. To understand why Leslie would conspire against her own child, Cat turned to the Richardson family's past. It was public record that Laura had been named sole beneficiary of her father's sizable trust, a nest egg Leslie had long believed should be hers. Bound by a restrictive clause, the funds could not be accessed until Laura turned 30. Until then, they would remain under the stewardship of Laura's guardians, Dr. Nicole, and Dr. Ted. Leslie's resentment festered over the years as she watched her ex-husband's estate flourish and her daughter's career skyrocket. She saw herself sidelined, stripped of the life she believed she deserved. To Leslie, this wasn't mere greed. It was justice for her sacrifices, and a way to reclaim the power she'd lost. Yet in seeking to claim what she thought was rightfully hers, she made a Faustian bargain with Eva, an opportunist more than happy to play a supporting role. Kat's research unearthed emails exchanged between Leslie and a burner account registered to Eva. The messages were cryptic, discussing timing, appointments, and ensuring the old guard stays in the dark. Each line left Kat's blood running cold. This was a conspiracy, pure and simple, and Laura's accident was only the opening act. 5. Kat's dilemma: to confront or to record? By the time Kat decided to take action, her plan was twofold: confront Leslie directly and, if that failed, hand solid evidence to the authorities. In Thursday night's live broadcast, a local access show Kat co-hosts with her friend Hannah, she made sure her phone's microphone was rolling. As Leslie appeared for a surprise guest segment under the pretext of discussing maternal instincts, Kat steered the conversation toward Laura's accident. Kat, smiling innocently: motherly love is a powerful force, Leslie. How do you feel about people who question whether your daughter's crash was truly an accident? Leslie's smile faltered for just a heartbeat. Her eyes darted to the camera, searching for an escape route. But the broadcast was live, and Kat pressed on Leslie, voice cool. It's outrageous to think I'd harm Laura. Some have suggested, well, that someone planted evidence or tampered with her car. But I assure you, my only concern is her well-being. As Leslie spoke, Kat's hidden recorder captured every nuance: the slight inhale before Leslie's denial, the forced warmth in her tone, the hesitation before she uttered tampered. It wasn't a confession, but it was ammunition, enough to convince any good detective that something was deeply amiss. Now Kat faced her greatest uncertainty: was she brave enough to storm the police station with nothing but a shaky recording? Could she trust that law enforcement would believe her over a powerful matriarch like Leslie Montclair? Or should she first find corroborating evidence, perhaps from the hospital footage, the burner emails, or a witness who saw Leslie near the accident site? 6. The stakes rise. What's on the line for Kat and the Richardson family? If Kat's gamble paid off, Leslie's empire of lies would collapse, her slander of Eva would be exposed, her machinations to delay Laura's recovery laid bare, and her misguided quest for control finally stopped. But if Kat failed, the fallout would be devastating. Leslie's influence could crush Kat's credibility, Eva might be railroaded into prison, and Laura could languish in the hospital for weeks longer, the trust fund clause still binding while Leslie tightened her vice on the Richardson wealth. Moreover, Kat's reputation as a level-headed community reporter hung in the balance. Should she be branded a conspiracy theorist, her show could lose sponsorship, her friendships fracture, and her voice be silenced, exactly what Leslie would want. The entire town of Brookhaven Ridge watched, unaware that the next move would decide not just the fate of one young woman's life, but the reputation futures of everyone involved. 7. A ghost from the past, unexpected allies and hidden enemies. Just when it seemed Kat stood alone, whispers of a clandestine form began to surface. A mysterious figure known only as the archivist claimed access to decades-old police records, hospital logs and financial statements, all pointing toward a pattern of Montclair meddling. Could Kat trust this shadowy helper? Or was this another trap laid by Leslie's network of enforcers? Meanwhile, Eva Sinclair, the unwitting pawn in this deadly game, learned of Kat's recording and reached out with a heartfelt plea for help. In a tear-choked phone call, she confessed her fears and begged Kat to believe her innocence. If Eva truly turned ally, she could provide insider details about Leslie's burner account communications and perhaps even testify to Leslie's brazen hospital visit. Yet lurking in the corners were two more threats: a hired driver who almost ran Kat off the road one rainy evening, and a cryptic letter warning her to stop digging or face dire consequences. With every revelation, Kat realized she wasn't just fighting for the truth, she was fighting for her life. 8. Countdown to confrontation. What to expect in the coming episodes as the clock ticks inexorably toward next Monday's live episode of our show, and toward the crucial hearing at Brookhaven PD. Here's what to look out for. Kat's big reveal. Will she play the recording for Detective Morales? Or will she hold back, seeking further proof? Eva's redemption. Watch for Eva's dramatic appeal in court, her chance to clear her name and expose Leslie's network. Leslie's desperation. Expect to see ominous scenes of Leslie orchestrating last-ditch efforts to discredit Kat, including planted evidence and character assassinations. Nicole and Ted's choice. Laura's parents must decide whether to stand with the woman who raised their daughter or the woman who nearly destroyed her. The archivist's identity. Who is this secret source and what will they reveal? Their next message may hold the missing link that brings Leslie down. 9. Why this story matters. The power of one woman's resolve at its core. This isn't just a tale of scandal and intrigue, it's a story about the unbreakable strength of conviction. Kat Hayes embodies the idea that one person, armed with nothing but a voice recorder and a fierce sense of justice, can stand up against a legacy of deception, whether she succeeds or stumbles. Her journey reminds us that truth is worth defending even when the world tells us to stay silent. Our TV channel Soap News and Spoilers is the place for those who want to know how the Salem story goes, as well as great days of our lives updates and news, so subscribe to our channel to get what you want. Bye-bye.